Edge, Adam Copeland, has shot in a recent interview on CBS Sports regarding his decision to leave WB for AEW, retirement, who played a factor, lack of creative, his frustrations within WB, and much, much more. Because Adam Copeland made his promotional debut at the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view event after his WB contract had expired in September. And there actually had been speculation leading up to this. Would he stay in WB by signing a new deal? Could he go to AEW or simply retire as an active in-ring performer? While speaking with CBS Sports, Copeland opened up on his decision and noted that this will be his last run as a full-time performer. He noted that he knows going into it that it's going to be hard, but he enjoys it, and that's who he is. He talked about how, and I quote, "As I got closer to the end of my deal, retirement was a very, very real option. It was not off the table. I really set with the idea of retirement because I truly thought, man, WB gave me that night in regards to his match on SmackDown with Sheamus in Toronto. I don't know how that gets topped, and I still think that's in my brain. I guess now it's like, okay, how can I try and top it in this new environment? Honestly, that Toronto show was a send-off of that character, and it was a perfect way for the character to go out. Wrestling a guy I've never wrestled that I always wanted to. So much fun to be there that night. I'll never forget it. I always have that night with me. I told Sheamus that too. That will be one of the most special nights of my career." He then talked about how ending his career in the same promotion as Christian Cage, his longtime tag team partner and friend, is a dream scenario. His wife, Beth Phoenix, also played a major factor in Edge's decision to go to AEW and leave WB. In regards to the AEW deal, he noted that the deal came together quickly, about 2 weeks before his debut. This is what he had to say. "It wasn't until my contract was up on September 21st. It wasn't until then. So it was really, really quick to get everything done and get everything dialed in. Figuring out so many things like getting with Alter Bridge and getting music and doing all those things. There were 9 to 10 days. I don't know immediately, but I thought that's where I wanted to go. I really thought that working with Jay again was what I wanted to do and how I pictured it in a perfect world." Beth said, "What's your perfect world?" I was like, "My perfect world is that I end my career with Jay." So suddenly, that perfect world looked like it could be there. It's tough to pass that up. He talked about how he started to getting a sense of there not being a real direction for him and to be not having any plans for him because it just comes down to he's done everything. He also admitted that due to that same reason, he also came up against creative walls and having difficulties coming up with ideas. He also revealed that he actually wanted to wrestle more than 10 times a year, but WB kept saying, you know what, let's just try to keep you special as much as possible and limit how many times you wrestle per year. And he continued. There was also a conundrum of, I was contracted for 10 matches a year. I offered to do more. But to their point, I wouldn't feel quite as special, which I understood too. Just felt like neither of us really had any ideas, and that's never been the case before. So when you look at that, and then I look at my best friend over there having a time of his life, at a certain point, once I thought, you know what? I still have a window here where I can do this, and I don't feel like I'm maximizing that. I think that's what that really boiled down to. End quote. Really, really honest comments here by Edge, Adam Copeland. And it's also going to take me a minute to get used to calling him Edge. Just to backtrack quickly, he has told the story about how when Christian was over in TNA, he had the opportunity to jump ship to TNA and he didn't. He's also talked about how he went to AEW and negotiated a deal and then went to Vince McMahon and said, look, if you'll medically clear me, if the doctors will medically clear me and you'll sign me to a deal that beats theirs, I'll sign with you instead in 2019, 2020, whenever he had the bike incident with Sheamus. So it's not like he's always been a Chris Jericho where I will never leave WWE type of scenario. It's always been, well, if the deal's right, if everything makes sense, I'll do it. And that's what he did. And I think he made the right decision. I agree. He was coming up against creative walls. And I agree that there was a lot of times where his creative, like when they tried to turn the Judgment Day into a supernatural group, that sucked. And he's better than that. And he's worth more than that. And there's things that he can do other than that, right? I mean, it's Edge. He's a legendary name for a reason.